Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sound Ideas. It's a podcast where I talk about Kingdom Hearts music and I invite people to talk about Kingdom Hearts music because that's my hyperfixation and I have no other meaning on my life. Uh, this episode.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. Kingdom Hearts music is all I think about. It's all I live and breathe on. So this is the third episode of this freaking podcast.
Yay! And you have a trio for your third episode. How fun.
This is the first time we have 3 people at once. So we have here Aeba and Roxas, some of the best
Hello.
Kingdom Hearts content creators at the moment. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves in case someone doesn't know who you are, but everyone probably does because you're famous. Alright.
Aeba can go first.
Bio, you go ahead first.
Oh no! Hello, I'm Bio Roxas. I make videos on YouTube about animations and looking way too deeply at things and slowing it down, so hello. I also make memes. Those are fun. Anyways.
Very funny memester. And hi, I'm Aeba. Absolutely everything about. I make video essay type content with a focus on Kyrie, the reason I live and breathe.
Also super relatable because Kyrie is the best.
There's a meme I have an idea for called what was I gonna call it? Like proof that Kyrie is the strongest Kingdom Hearts character or something. And it was gonna like supercut all the times when she gets captured and like dies.
No.
But I was like, I don't know if that one will go over well, so I'll probably just hold on to that one.
Yeah, that one probably would be a little
Keep your mouth
controversial.
shut. Good.
I did one video like discussing the ending of Melody of Memory and like how Kyrie's character could have. I don't even remember what the focus of the video was, but holy crap, people were mad. Like just like so many comment wars. Like I guess just anything surrounding Kyrie, there's like 2 sides that just like have to fight each other, and that's what happened in my comments.
From what I see, there's the people who just want Kyrie to be treated well, and then there's the people who like don't think she even has that potential, which I personally disagree on. I think she has so much potential to be treated well and to actually be like one of the best characters in the series actually. But yeah, so we have this freaking game called Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. You might have heard of it.
Yay!
It came out like a month ago. And it was like advertised.
Oh my god, it has been.
Yeah.
It has been that long, hasn't it?
Yeah, like I really thought that this was gonna be it, man. I thought this was gonna be her time to shine. And I mean, she got a little bit of it at the end before being told she wasn't good enough yet to actually be a main character. So I wanna hear what Aeba has to say about that.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Are we doing like very deep spoilers, or are we just doing like kind of basic?
I think we can.
TLDR
I
kind
think we
of.
can talk about spoilers.
So, long and short of it is, I'm pissed. I'm gonna be pissed for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
You are limiting yourself and your narrative possibilities when you limit character interactions. So by having like Riku be alone, you're going to limit what he's going to do in his own story. At the very least, you should want Riku to have a character to bounce off of. And you're limiting his character development, maybe a possible next arc for him, because his arc's been, everyone said, like, or Riku's arc is done, has been done for many games now. So if there's nothing to continue on to him, he's gonna start to get stale. And, a way to do that would have been for Kyrie to just go with him.
Absolutely. Like, this whole, like, oh, but she's training thing. It's like, it's been done. Like, this has been, I really feel like it's just Nomura's excuse for, like, letting Kyrie do something without actually having to do anything with her. And, like, not, like, look like he's not sexist because, hey, it's not like I'm just letting her doing nothing. She's training in the background. On screen for 8 years.
Or like he heard that like people wanted her to train with Aqua, And it was like, oh, so that's what you guys want, so I'll go have her do that. And we're like, no, it's not an either-or situation.
Yeah.
We want it both.
It's like, no, she should have done that before or something like that. It's not the time to train Kairi, guys. She's been over that. She's already trained. No other character needed a freaking training arc. Everyone just went straight into the adventure and grew throughout the adventure. Like an actual story should go, you know?
You were like, you're reading out my draft of my review script of this.
I'm also writing my own review of Melody of Memory, but I'm mostly focusing on the issues I had with the gameplay, and then I have just a whole paragraph at the end that's like, man, what they did with Kairi sucks.
Kairi rant.
Everyone has kind of the same opinion, I feel like.
Yeah.
Either that or they just think Kairi doesn't deserve rights, and then that's a whole other crew.
Well, and then you're a misogynist and you don't have rights as it is, so who cares?
I mean, the whole point of Sound Ideas is that we talk about Kingdom Hearts music, right?
Music.
But of course, Melody of Memory is kind of an exception because it is a music game. So I guess you'll talk about the game.
There's a loophole.
Once. Yeah, there's a loophole. I can actually talk about other things if I stretch out the logic enough. So I wanted to ask you guys, do you guys have musical background? Any sort of musical background? This is just for context.
Yeah, so I grew up actually with a huge music background. I was formally taught violin for most of my elementary or middle school years. And then I was taught by a drum corps major, I believe. So I learned percussion for 6 years, I think. And then I taught myself guitar, piano. I'm a singer. And so most of my formative years, elementary through high school, was all focused on music because I was like, I'm gonna be a musician. And then when I went to go to undergrad at my school, they had this huge, it was like an assessment. And so you had to be able to sight read, and there was a bunch of different stipulations to actually get accepted to the school. And so I've been I was trained in violin and drums, but my focus was guitar, and I taught myself, and so I couldn't really do all the things they wanted me to do. So I took psychology instead, and then I haven't touched music really since then.
I didn't know you had that much of a musical background.
Oh yeah, I interned at a music studio and learned how to do audio engineering, and it was awesome. I love it.
It's cool.
That's super cool. Yeah.
So how about you, Abe?
I actually kind of the basic. I was in choir in elementary school, but I was in orchestra. I played the violin as well.
Cool.
All throughout high school. I know you guys can't see it, but this is a cool shirt that we did a Pops concert every year, and it has my high school on the back. So
I mean, everyone here has at least some sort of semblance of musical knowledge, of course to different extents, but that's good because we get different perspectives on how welcoming this musical game was to every kind of person, right? So here's my worry about Melody of Memory. It is drastically different gameplay wise from all the other games, because of course it requires some sort of musical practice. You need to have some notion of rhythm and some notion of just rhythm basically, but you also need to be good at recognizing patterns and stuff. Especially on Proud mode, I saw a lot of people having issues with the gameplay and having trouble getting into it and getting better at it. So I wanted to know what you guys think about the whole accessibility thing.
I mean, I think they did very, very well. I mean, as a person who is one, kind of okay at music, and two, kind of also just okay at video games, I feel like I kind of had a little bit of difficulty, but the thing about the gameplay in Melody of Memory is that even when it's difficult, it's still fun. You might have a really hard time if you're just really not a person who has good rhythm, but I don't know, you just there's not a lot that you can't like practice to get better at, I feel.
Yeah, well, I'm always like a proponent of like, even if you have a music background, music games are just a completely different beast. Because I remember when I would pick up like guitar, hear a rock band, and be like, oh, I'm a musician, like I've played music before, and then just be garbage at, playing those games. But I think it did well in, you have 3 different game difficulties, but then you also have 3 different game modes with styles, and so like, I don't think it's necessarily like you can activate the styles for the world tour, but beginner is like super easy. And so, if someone just wants to tap along to the beat, you have those visual indicators for the lock-ons of like, even if you don't really have a good sense of rhythm, there's still visual indicators that help you along. So, while it may be tough for people that don't have a sense of rhythm for harder difficulties, I think it's still pretty accessible to almost anybody.
That's cool. That's interesting, actually. I thought at least one of you guys would have a different stance on this. So I'm gonna be the devil's advocate here, because I have seen people complain on forums and like on Twitter and stuff that they just think this game is super hard. And like personally, I had a pretty okay time with it, like an easy time with it. I thought it was really fun. But even on proud mode, I found myself just breezing through most of the stages. Like, I think I only died on like the boss fights.
Okay, show off. I'm just kidding.
But I mean, of course, I think there's like true reasons for this. One of them is, of course, I have like experience with music, so like in some sense. I don't have the best rhythm. Like I suck at playing percussion instruments. They're like my biggest failure. But I do think I had an easier time with this game because I'm also very familiar with the soundtrack, because that's my whole thing. I'm just obsessed with every single like track in the series. So I was very familiar with, this part's gonna come up next, so this is the rhythm I'm gonna have to play. Like, I thought everything was somewhat predictable in that sense.
There's a couple songs, and I feel like maybe I didn't pick up on it as much with other ones, but they would like have you fly up and start gliding and show you the beat of the song before you actually got to that in some points. And I thought that was really cool because even like at the start, if you compare at the start of the song and at the end of the song, it's almost like beginner starts on really easy and then slowly rises up to the standard difficulty by the end. And I think that works also for, standard kind of slowly rising up to the difficulty of proud, and then proud kind of ramping up all the way towards the end. And so I really like how they, increase the difficulty in each track, where, you're just hitting the basic beats at the beginning, and then by the end you're hitting all the different notes. And I thought that was, like, it feels really good by the end.
I really noticed that too, that most of the stages have like the sense of progression within the stage themselves. That's pulled off really well. And I love those gliding sections. I think like the ones I can remember are Traverse Town, like where in the middle of the song it introduces like this little rhythm through the gliding section, and then it has you playing that right after, and it's so satisfying.
Oh, yeah, it's so
I think they did that in one of the Tron ones as well, but I don't remember. But
I just remember there's this working
I
together.
just played those today, and that was
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
I think one of the working together Allegro, like the classical piano piece. I remember because I was so used to them setting up that note progression with the gliding, and so you jump up and there's just all these notes like while I'm gliding, and I was like, oh no, like is this what's coming up next?
Man, the piano collection pieces on Melody of Memory, I was so thankful that they put those in, because every single track besides those is either like from inside the games or like from Disney movies, basically. And then there's like one version of the study that is the orchestra version. But like they didn't really take any other songs that were like interpretations that were done outside of the games, except for the piano collection pieces. And I was like, man, this is for me. They remembered me. Because like it feels like a love letter to like the people who are invested in the music so much. Because the piano collections don't have story, they don't have gameplay. They're just, hey, here's music. Like, if you get the piano collections, it's because you like the music.
I don't think I've ever heard the piano collections before.
Really? Oh man, you should listen to them. The piano collections are so good. Well,
I loved what I heard.
Yeah, man, and they picked some of the best ones for Melody of Memory too. And honestly, I think they're like my favorite stages, especially the working together one. It's
that one's so rough.
Really fun.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at that one.
Yeah, it's really hard, but it's also really satisfying and like super fun. I wanted to also ask you guys like what your favorite favorite tracks to play in Melody of Memory were.
Oh, okay. I think, what do I have liked on my? I'm trying to remember. Definitely the young Xehanort fight that has that really cool like progression like in the middle of it. And then what's my other one? The No More Club. Because that was real fun. I can't remember. Two's good though. I like those two.
I liked Darkness. That's the one I played a lot. So the demo came out before my school semester had started ramping up, and so when like Melody of Memory actually came out, like I haven't had any time to play it. Like I'm still, you know, I have 1 week left, so I'm like looking forward to the end. But so I haven't been able to like get better, like play like outside of streaming it or recording it for content. But I did really like the Dream Drop Distance worlds. Like I was actually surprised at like how much I guess I just never really listened to the soundtracks for that, but I just really liked how those sounded and how those felt. And the recoded songs too were really good.
I have this impression that Melody of Memory just brought back so many people's interests in all these songs from other games, like especially games they hadn't played yet, or like you said, like you weren't super familiar with the Dream Drop tracks, and listening to them here, you're like, oh man, this actually sounds kind of cool. The whole game feels like a way to re-experience the entire franchise, but also to re-experience it through the music specifically is so fun. It feels like it should have happened already. Like this would have been the perfect recap game before Kingdom Hearts 3, I feel like. And I don't know why it only released now, but
I think it's been it must have been in development for a while though, because they made all the worlds for everything leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3, but then Kingdom Hearts 3 it's literally just the memory dives, like just, you know, cutscenes. So it's like they must have been working on this either in tandem with Kingdom Hearts 3 or like very shortly after it came out, because I don't know, it just seems like there was so much work put into all the worlds, and then like you get to the end and it's all like, you know, rushed out.
Yeah, it makes me wonder why this game like took as long as it did to come out, because it was probably being made at the same time as Kingdom Hearts 3, and then they had like an additional 2 years, and still didn't really give us much in terms of Kingdom Hearts 3 music, which was already done for a long time. So like, what happened there, you know? And there's like so many awesome tracks missing from Kingdom Hearts 3. We didn't get any of like the cool final battle themes, like the Triple Xehanort one, or the one against Terranort and Vanitas. Like some of the best tracks in the series, in my opinion. We didn't get
that Vector
the soundtrack.
Other promise.
Yeah, the soundtrack for Kingdom Hearts 3 was so good. Like, I would have loved like Toy Box's battle theme, or like Frozen's. Like Frozen, like the world is like all right, but the world music for that I love. Like I just love hearing the field theme for Frozen's world.
Yeah,
it's so like I don't know the word for it. It's just exciting. So I really wish they would have. I guess they couldn't have taken more time on it or something, but I really wish they would have put some more songs from that in.
Well, do you think it has anything to do with how much time it would take to debuild all of those worlds to like go through?
I mean, maybe, but I feel like
it was all built in Unity, right?
They could just make memory dives of those if they wanted to. Like, And like.
Well, but then you're gonna like be seeing like the same cutscenes of the same like half hour of footage that's in the world or whatever it is.
I'd love to see what went into building each world, because that might give us a better idea of how long it actually took to put together.
The Keyblade Graveyard was the only thing that was debuilt, and that's kind of basic, you know.
It doesn't even
just
look
a bunch
that
of
good.
sand.
For some reason, it looks so weird. Like the textures are so like it looks like clay or something.
Ooh.
Even the model
wait,
they made for Cage 3 Sora looks weird to me. Like the textures, they are so.
It looks just like the Cage 2 mod. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but there was a Kingdom Hearts 3.
I think the Cage 2 mod looks better, honestly. Like the model looks better. I mean, the Melody of Memory one looks better in terms of like polygons and whatever. But the textures are so weird to me. Like it looks uncanny valley. Like
Right.
I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's just me, but it feels like they just couldn't get the same art style, like the way they wanted to. While
I think Kairi looked fine.
The Kairi one looks great. Yeah, Kairi
I was like, why didn't just let us fight as Kairi? Like, how cool would it have been to freaking use Kairi with the Kingdom Key and like go through all of that and then realize that like Sora was helping? Like, okay, you know, maybe Kairi was weak there and whatever, and Sora had to help her. But it would have been so cool if Sora just like, you know, helped through her instead of, you know, being summoned and like taking over her body and appearance.
Exactly.
Yeah, like she's still in there halfway, but like Yeah,
but it's not her. We're literally playing as Sora.
No, we're playing as Kairi and Sora at the same time in the same body.
Yeah, but I wish they would just let us see Kairi do things. You know.
Exactly.
Let us have the impression that she has agency over this, or like the impression.
Yeah.
Let us pretend.
I'm definitely saying that.
I've heard that the Xehanort that's there is supposed to be like her fears and worries. Have you guys heard that theory?
Ooh.
For Xehanort?
It's kind of what they say in the game. That's like he's a figment of her memories or something.
Okay.
It feels like it definitely is something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just find it odd that he has some kind of idea of what's happening though to Sora, right? Because like he's like, oh, and now I know where he is, and so like, why would he need to know where Sora is, right?
The different versions of one person are all kind of connected in the same, like in the sense of, like I don't know, like your heart can remember for other people. Like memories don't really work the way we expect them to work in like the real world.
But he also has
remembering Sora and protecting him in the end of the grid from Dream Drop. It's like that wouldn't really make sense, but because they're not the same version, but memories just work like that, I guess. I'm gonna say, you guys remember that scene like in Cage 1 where like Sora and Riku are in Hollow Bastion and Sora finds out that Kairi is inside him, and then Riku is like about to strike him with the Keyblade, and like he's in the ground.
Do I remember that scene?
Yeah,
lead me into everlasting darkness!
In the ground, and then he hears like Kairi's voice say Sora, and then it's like he blocks the attack. Like how cool would it have been if that scene in Melody of Memory like paralleled that, like Kairi was like on her knees, Xehanort about to just strike her, and then she hears Sora like, "How Kairi," and then she like blocks it. Man, that would have been so hype.
Yeah.
I was gonna try to recreate like Kairi's inside me, but I couldn't figure it out. Right? Yeah, I was trying to like figure out how to make a meme out of that, but I couldn't.
You know, we gotta follow with the rule I just made up of Sora can't speak or whatever.
And then he says thunder.
And then thunder. I love that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sure, like it doesn't even follow that.
Someone pointed that out to me, and I'm so mad because I'm just like, dang it, I didn't have to hear that. now that's whenever I play that, I always think of that.
Look at these plot.
It could have just been Kairi's voice.
God, Kairi's voice coming out of Sora's body.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
we had that with Xion, but like, it would have been even weirder. Do you guys think this is a good way to get people invested on the music of the series? Like, do you guys think this is a good way to build interest on that?
On the music, yes. Yeah, I think so. I think there's, because playing through it, like, I want to go back through all the games now. and just experience the games for myself again. But I know when I play through it, I'm gonna be like, oh, like these songs stick out so much more to me now because I've played Melody and Memory.
I don't think Aeba said like if there's any songs that you heard in the game and you were like, oh, this is cool. I didn't remember this, or I didn't remember like enjoying this.
Oh, quite a couple. Like Eye of Darkness. Never heard that song before. I don't know where it's from. I don't know when it happened.
Is that the
It's
one
really
against
cool though.
Ventus
yeah, the one
armor?
against Ventus.
It's in Dream Drop.
Yeah, it's the Ventus Nightmare armor at the end of Dream Drop Distance where Riku goes to save Sora.
Okay.
Okay.
If you guys say
Have
so.
Have you played Dream Drop Distance?
I have.
But
Okay.
yeah,
It just didn't
been,
stick, I guess.
It's been a hot minute since Dream Drop.
This guy?
Yeah.
You go pew pew.
Yo,
What was
pew,
I? Oh, but so the beginning of your question had me thinking of like, is Melody of Memory a good way to get into the music? Yes. Into the story? Probably not.
That's what I was thinking.
Like if you haven't played a Kingdom Hearts game before, no.
Wow,
like
really?
imagine
Sorry.
watching Birth by Sleep's recap story and being like, what is happening? What? Like,
Yeah. Well, and I had that same thought during like Coded. And Coded one is so long.
The Coded one is
There's
so
so
long.
much information that makes no sense.
for one world.
It- I was,
Door was
Oh my
castle
god,
open,
this smells like.
led by a figure in black. He would be dragged. Days were realized that his pain was not tied to his memory together. He swore to cultivate Roxas, but he accepted the pain. The hurt of those connected to Sora brings dormant in his heart, and to help him wait space and heal that pain, now they have left the series journal entry. Their hurt lived in
it's just like imagine if that's the only thing you get of Coded, and you're like, what?
But I mean-
What is going on?
And I swear, the idea of data worlds is going to be so important for the future. And it's like, you're just going to gloss over that real quick.
I feel like they did at least a much better job than whatever they did with the Kingdom Hearts 3 like memory archives. Those
Yeah.
sucked so much. Like
Did
they
they?
didn't
Oh, I never watched them.
explain shit. They're so bad, and to make it matters worse, it's like Chirithy narrating them, and Chirithy's voice is so like you cannot sit through 40 minutes of Chirithy narrating in this
What?
goddamn series and not lose your mind, you know? And it's like not even a good narration, it's terrible narration. It ends on cliffhangers. Like
well-
each game ends on a cliffhanger and it doesn't like say the freaking ending. And you're like, oh, man,
Really?
thanks for nothing. Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah,
Like
yikes.
the rechain one ends with like, and then they prepare to face Marluxia and it ends. It's like, thanks, I guess. Didn't understand
Oh.
anything.
But don't you need to know that Sora like goes to sleep and everything?
Yeah, they don't even go into that.
Interesting.
Bad. So I feel like at least
Yeah.
Melody of Memory does a good job, like actually going through what happens. It's probably not the best way to like you're not actually gonna experience the series as if you were like actually playing it, but I think it's a good way to like pique
Yeah.
people's interest. I feel like it's mainly a good like party game. You have like some friends over, like, hey, wanna play
Yeah.
some dumb rhythm game? It has like 3 Disney songs that you know already.
That's how you get your friends into Kingdom Hearts. You're like, let's play this dumb rhythm game. Just watch these. It's fine. Yeah, I'll buy
Yeah,
the rest of the games for you. You know, like.
It's something. It's one way. I can never get any of my friends into this dumb series. I got like one person.
I had one
and
friend.
That's it.
I had one friend at work.
Yeah.
I mentioned Kingdom Hearts. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm excited for Kingdom Hearts 3." And I like, latched onto him, and I was like, "Yes, we're gonna be friends." He's like, "I played 1 and part of the second one," and I was like, "Just kidding."
Yeah. Yeah, I played 1 and 2. Man, I can't wait for the 3rd one. It's been 20 years, right?
This is the time where I was still making all these like trailer form analysis stuff. So like, I was like, "Oh, did you see this in this trailer and this connects to this?" And he was like, "Oh no, I didn't pick up any of that. I've only played the first one." And I was like, "Ah, oh no."
I've certainly been guilty of being like, wow, how dare you not have
Yeah.
played Birth by Sleep 0.2, a fragmentary passage, final chapter prologue.
Yeah. But at the same time,
missing all the lore.
it is a necessity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. But also, like, I just feel like
Yeah.
it's okay to let people just enjoy this dumb Disney game without context, and like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
okay for them to judge it super harshly if they
Yeah, that's
don't have the
where I'm
full
like,
picture.
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, if you enjoy it, if you just want to like play what you think is fun, go for it." But when someone's like, "Oh no, this is bad," or "This is garbage," and it's like, no, you can't say that unless you've you've gone through everything I've gone through.
I feel like people just judge the series way too much. Not even just the series, but I also like video games in general. I feel like are just like considered to be less than other.
All right.
kinds
Oh,
of
you
media.
play video games? You make
Yeah.
videos about playing video games? What? It's just like
I go through
okay.
this a lot because people ask me like, "Oh, what kind of music do you play? What kind of music are you into?" And I have to say like, I'm into video game music, and I can never say that with a straight face because I know like I know
You
that
gotta
they're
own
just
it.
thinking like, "Oh,
I feel like Square Enix is like up there with video game OSTs. Just gotta show them.
yeah."
Oh yeah.
No, what you do is you just play, like you just, put some music on in the background while you're chatting, right? And you're like, yeah, I listen to like stuff like this. And they're like, whoa, you listen to classical music? And you're like, yeah, video game music. And then their brain explodes. Right?
Cultured.
I remember there was one day where I was like practicing one of the piano collection pieces from Kingdom Hearts. One of my teachers just like was around it and he like asked, "Wow, what composer is that? I feel like that's one of the classical composers I know." And I'm like, it's probably not. I don't think you've heard of this one. It's like, no, but say it. You're like, it's from a video game. It's like, oh, but it's from a video game, but it's probably like copied from someone else. I'm like, no, it's from a video game. Like, guys,
okay.
video game music can be good, man.
Yeah.
It's my goal to convince people that it's real music. And like,
Good luck.
I saw this
Yeah.
Twitter post yesterday, and it was like, someone was like, "What if video game music sounded like real music?" It was like obviously like ironic.
What if?
I know a lot of what if? I know a lot of people actually just think like that, like, oh, not real
and
music.
I'm really passionate about like music is such a weird thing in life, right? Because you'll have people that have this, famous pop music or like just popular music that one person makes, and because like they're at the top of the music industry, they get to control what's popular and what's not. And so it's like music is always about a creative outlet, right? Like you're wanting to create something that you're passionate about. And so for somebody to come through and be like, oh, that music isn't good, it's like, what? Like this speaks to me, this resonates with me. Like, who are you to say that, something that gives me joy, gives me life, and that's like a creative expression for me isn't good? It's like, I never understand when people are like, oh, this song's bad. It's like, somebody, like, this song speaks to somebody and probably maybe change their life. Like, how can you just, it makes me so mad.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I will say I am guilty of hating of hating some music. Like, I'm super biased against some of the tracks in Cage 3. I don't wanna be the negative.
I gotta
don't
go.
Wanna no, don't go.
Be
There's, like-
negative. Roast her.
Everyone knows this about me, but there's
Roast her.
one composer from Kingdom Hearts that is not Yoko Shimomura, that I'm just not a super fan of. And
The one that made the
like,
Pirates music.
Okay.
yeah, him, Ishimoto. not a huge fan. Even though like the stuff he does for other games sometimes is around the same level, like compositional wise, the Cage 3 stuff just suffered like from a technical standpoint. I feel like it had like these weird cheap sound fonts for the violins and like weird loops at the end, and it some of it just
Oh, yeah?
felt uncomfortable to hear to me.
There was a glitch that I would jump into battle, and it would like reset the song. It was really weird.
I don't really get what happened with, and they also like in the actual soundtrack release, the CD release, they fixed a lot of his tracks. They fixed the loops, they fixed the instruments. Like, it's not fully orchestrated like Yoko's stuff, but it sounds better than it did in the game. If they went through the trouble of actually going back and fixing it, then they knew that something wasn't great, right? The one I do really not like is Dark Domination, the one for Final Xehanort in Cage 3.
Oh yeah.
And there's also the fact that it's like next to Yoko Shimomura and all these other arrangers that worked on Cage 3 that like I feel like are just super good at what they do, super good at using orchestral instruments, and he's just
And
kind of
they-
like not super experimented. He does more like electronic and acoustic guitar music. That's more of like his strength.
Do you think that the other arrangers had like a better idea of Kingdom Hearts as well coming into it? Like, was he a new arranger for Kingdom Hearts 3?
No, Ishimoto's been around for a while. He was
Really?
I forgot exactly what he did, but he did some like sound editing or something for Cage 2. He didn't actually compose
interesting.
anything, but he was involved in the audio production. He did a couple of tracks for Birth by Sleep, I think, but they were mostly like minigame tracks and stuff. He came back for Dream Drop Distance, where he did like the Tron Legacy stuff, and then Cage 3. So he's been around for a while. So he should have a better understanding of like how to do things. The impression that I get is that he's kind of like just trying to imitate Shimomuro's style, and that really doesn't end up very well because he has his own style. He composed the music for The World Ends With You, and a lot of people love that.
Oh.
I feel like he's just not in his own environment. I feel like Kingdom Hearts doesn't feel like the soundtrack for him. Like I want Shimomura to be the focus because that's who created this whole musical universe, taking away the climax of the art that's been set up for like forever, and not giving that to her felt kind of like a slap in the face for everyone. Sorry, I got way off track here.
Yeah, like I'm probably, I know I'm probably guilty of the same, of like not liking music, and I didn't mean to like step up on my soapbox and to high horse people. I just get passionate about like that. So I hope I didn't like, shame you for, not liking a song.
No, absolutely not. Don't worry. Everyone has songs they don't like. The issue is going like harassing people for liking the things they do. Like if people like Ishimoto stuff, I don't freaking care. Go off, have fun. I don't think it's shameful to like things, regardless of what my personal opinion of them is. So I have a question for you guys while we're in this subject. Out of the tracks that are in Melody of Memory, do you think any of them you didn't like, or like could have been left out in favor of some other tracks?
Mickey March.
Oh.
Just kidding. I was just messing.
Understandable. I mean,
I actually
thank
like
God
Under
we
the
didn't get
Sea.
Finny
I loved
Fine.
I actually really like the Atlantica music. I was surprised when I was going through it.
Yeah.
I cannot like full combo the battle music for Atlantica. It's so
Bruh.
hard.
I don't
Like,
think
the
I've
very
full
end
chained
is, like, really
anything
fast.
yet. I'm such a
Yeah.
fake Kingdom Hearts fan. I haven't done anything.
I wouldn't say I would want to get rid of them, but for some reason, like my mind and my body just like doesn't work with the Dream Drop Traverse Town songs.
Oh.
I can't get them at
I'm
all.
garbage. Yeah, no, I'm
I know
garbage
exactly
at those.
what you're talking about.
I was listening to
That's
Traverse
over.
and Trance, and I was like, oh, this is like, I love this song, and I tried to actually do it, and I was like, oh, I can't sync up with the beat of this.
Not at all. Like I kept trying to like do the background music like backwards or forwards. Like what is going on? I can't figure it out.
First time I played through those, I was like missing all the notes. I was like, what the heck is going on? I know
Well,
this one.
in the
like,
Dream Drop
how
Distance
am I not
worlds,
getting this?
all the Dream Drop Distance enemies are so confusing because they're all moving.
Oh yeah.
It breaks my brain, especially those
feel like in a
stupid
way-
like
Yeah.
salamanders that jump out of the ground.
And in a way, like the visual elements are cool, but they're also like super distracting. I've seen people point this out, but like Melody of Memory is like visually polluted as hell. Like you really have to trust the rhythm and not what you're seeing on screen because
Oh yeah.
it gets so chaotic.
Especially a lot of them are like enemies like are very big comparatively. Like all the bird ones and the lion ones and the freaking T-Rex.
Yeah.
They take up a lot of the screen. So it's a lot.
I have a lot of fun with Melody of Memory as it is, but I also feel like any other rhythm game I can think of is not going to be as visually confusing as this one. This is probably the one that has this issue the most out of all the ones I know. And I get that it's because they were trying to go for a Kingdom Hearts looking game. Like they wanted it to feel like Kingdom Hearts, they wanted it to look like Kingdom Hearts, but also then it kind of takes away from the actual rhythm side of the game, which is like clearly in a rhythm game you're supposed to have everything as visually clean as possible and less the least confusing as possible for the person to actually be able to play the game and like not have trouble with what's going on. But
I'm kind of okay with sacrificing that little bit of accessibility if it does have so much of an identity like it does. Overall, like if we like have a problem with 2 songs out of the 140 that are there, I think it's just fine.
yeah,
You know.
that's true. Like it doesn't like take away like how good the game is or anything. I just feel like it is
absolutely
a flaw in a certain way. It can be a flaw. The one button mode is in the game, but it's only available in track selection, and I want to know like why.
Yeah, and you only unlock track selection and all of the tracks after you beat them in the world tour.
Yeah, and so why would you go back and play it on one button if you already beat it normally? Like, I don't get it. I really don't get what the point is, because it was advertised before. I was like, yeah, we have accessibility options. Like, if you don't have experience with rhythm games, we have one button mode, but they don't tell you that you're forced to play the game the regular way, either way. Like, it's not an issue for me, absolutely not. But I can see like people with disabilities wanting to play this game and having an issue with it because there's just so much you need to do.
I guess you would just like have to like do them all on beginner and see how far you get. It could be more accessible.
Yeah, I haven't touched performer mode. I mean, I did, but God, it's so hard. I'm not even gonna get into that. That's like a whole other league of difficulty. I see people like getting full excellence on performer mode on like all the tracks. I'm like, damn, what the heck?
How?
How do you do that? Yeah, how do you do that? Like, how do you get that good?
What kind of robot?
It was really fun. Really fun. This was a fun episode.
Yeah, it is super fun.
Yeah, thanks for asking me on.
Of course, man. I'm so glad you guys joined. Like, you guys agreed to be on the show, and
I'm glad I could actually talk with Aeba, and without like Kingdom Hearts voices, because I'm pretty sure that's the only time we've interacted.
on the Among Us.
Yeah.
On the Among Us, yeah. I was like, I don't think I've ever talked to Aeba, and I was like, oh wait, she was on the Among Us videos.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Thank you. So flattering to be here.
Yeah. Oh man, this was fun. Yeah. Thanks, I guess. Thanks everyone for watching. I will be linking Bio and Aeba's channels on the description. Go watch their content. They're really cool. Yeah. Cool content. Cool people. Go follow them, my friends. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
How do I stop recording?